Over the past few weeks, I've spent over 100+ hours just auditing different coaching businesses, auditing different funnels, and so on and so forth. And what I've found is there's about 7 different things that separates the businesses that are winning right now and the ones that are really struggling. I've noticed the ones that are struggling have like 7 recurring patterns over and over and over again in their businesses. In this video, I'm just going to walk you through what I've seen to be the reason why they are struggling. And we're going to go over everything together in so much detail. And if you're someone right now who is making about 30 to 100K per month and you'd love to be making a lot more money in your business, then you need to pay attention to this video, because this video just tells you the 7 most frequent recurring patterns that keep a lot of coaching businesses and keep them struggling. If you don't know anything about me, my name is OP. I run a marketing company and we help multiple coaches scale their businesses to 7 figures a year and beyond using virtual events. Like, we've made millions of dollars for our clients. So majority of what I'm going to share with you is just lessons from what we've seen to work for clients that we've worked with, and what I've noticed that these coaches that I audited, what they don't have right now. So let's just get into it. So the first thing you will notice here is, for the coaches that I found, they are not just testing enough creatives inside of their business. So when you look at their ads library, for example, you notice they are testing about maybe only 2 ads right now or 3 ads right now. And I get it if you have a low budget, which is not even an excuse not to test a lot of creatives. But if you are running paid ads, the volume of creatives that you're testing is going to be extremely important. Like, if I show you one of our clients' examples right here, and just to show you the volume of creatives we are running for this client right now, there's quite a lot. And if you look at anyone like, say, Dave Ramsey, for example, right? Like, Dave Ramsey has millions of followers on social media, and you can see here that he's running about 990 different ads right now on his ad account. So the more variety you have in your creatives, the more types, the more angles you have. First off, the more money you can spend profitably on your ads, and the more you can actually scale your paid ads like really aggressively. So you want to be testing more creatives, especially now with the recent updates with Meta. You need to be testing more creatives, more angles, more different variations of creatives, more pain points, and so on and so forth. Like, having one ad that you're running is not enough. And the biggest reason for this, by the way, is because of creative fatigue. And you don't want people to see the same ads from you over and over again. Plus the fact that with the recent updates, Facebook is only going to show a particular creative to a very small subsegment of your market. So once they've seen the same ad over and over again, it's not even going to open up the ads to like a broader audience, just because of how the algorithm works now. So if you really want to maximize your ad spend, you need to have good volume when it comes to your creatives. Now, the reason why people don't have good volume when it comes to creatives is they don't have a creative making process. So if you want me to make a video about that, you can let me know in the comments, and I'll do a video dedicated on our system for like just producing as many creatives as possible for the clients that we are working with right now. So that's kind of like the first thing that I noticed here when I was reviewing like all of these clients' accounts. The second thing that I noticed is, when you have an event funnel, say a webinar, a challenge, or anything, a lot of people don't have any form of indoctrination sequence, right? The only thing they have is reminders. So let's say you have a webinar, someone registers for that webinar, they opt into your funnel, and they are waiting for the day of the webinar. People usually just have like reminders in place. And if you want to truly maximize your revenue, reminders alone is just not enough if you really want to maximize your revenue from your webinar, from your challenge, from your workshop, and so on and so forth. So you want to have what we call an indoctrination sequence. And this indoctrination sequence is going to allow you to maximize your show up rate and maximize your close rate. Because if someone registers for your webinar, that's not enough to get them to show up and to get them to close. In order for you to get them to show up and close and make it easier for you right there and then on the webinar, they need to be a lot warmer before they get to a point where they can attend your webinar. So if you don't have any form of indoctrination sequence in place, then you're not going to be able to convert as many of these people as humanly possible. It's just point blank simple. So it's back in the day where you could have just a couple of emails and that will be enough to indoctrinate these people. You need a lot more right now in order for you to do that. So some of the things that we do is we indoctrinate them via email, and we want to pre-frame them in those emails. So by sharing testimonials and breaking their limiting beliefs. So like the 2 ways you want to pre-frame them before they join your webinar. So you want to list out all the common limiting beliefs they have. You want to list out your best testimonials and just feed them as many of that as possible before the day of your event or before the day your webinar starts. You also want to use ads to indoctrinate these people too as well. So this is something from Jeremy Ains. You want to use Jeremy Ains' Hammer Them system, where you're addressing their commonly asked questions in the ads, their second layer questions, which is questions that arrive from other questions, their expectations and their objections. You want to address all of these inside of your ads too as well. So that's going to be very, very important. So you also want to indoctrinate them on your confirmation page. So to be honest, you can still get far without all of these things, but if you want to scale to the really big numbers, you're going to need something like this in place inside of your business, because you want to truly maximize these people and have them come to the webinar as warm as humanly possible. So you want to indoctrinate them through your confirmation page too as well. So on your confirmation page, you want to have an urgency-based video, which is basically a video that gives them a compelling narrative to why now is the best time to take action. So you can say stuff like, if you have an AI program, for example, oh, AI is going to take all jobs, blah, blah, blah. This is why you should show up right now. If you have, say, you have a med spa program, I know I keep using the med spa example, but if you have a med spa program, you could say, oh, like the med spa industry is booming right now. Like a lot of people are discovering this right now. It's getting more saturated. The sooner you join this, the more likely it is for you to succeed. And that's your urgency-based video that will make it more likely for people to actually show up the event. And then you want to address FAQs on that confirmation page. So what you're really doing is you're doing the same core thing, trying to get them to show up to the webinar or the event with as little questions as humanly possible, but you're trying to do it from multiple touch points, because different people will have different ways of consuming content. And you don't want a situation where, oh, you only use email and the people don't check their email and they don't get the piece of content. So you want to hammer them through ads, through the confirmation page, through emails as well. Another thing we do is second chance campaigns. So one thing we found is majority of your buyers are going to not come from the first webinar that you run, especially when you do a webinar every single week, right? You're going to have people that will consume 2, 3, 4 webinars before they finally trust you enough to purchase your program. So you want to have second chance campaigns, basically emails that you send to your prospects to re-invite them for the same webinar again. Do this over and over and over again until they finally convert. Of course, you always want to give a very compelling reason to make them to actually show up and register again, but you want to also have second chance campaigns to really maximize these people. And then on the ads front, we have like retargeting ads to get them to purchase if they attended the webinar, if they didn't attend the webinar, and then we have reminder ads to remind them to show up to the webinar too as well. So a lot of people don't have this, and it's one of the biggest reasons why I think they are truly not maximizing their revenue as much as possible if they have an event-based funnel. So this is a difference between like literally having a webinar that makes you 100K and one that makes you 200K. Like if you just do this and you don't change the webinar presentation or anything, you could literally double your webinar sales by just doing something as simple as this. And this means you can spend more money on ads because your ad spend is basically the same. You can spend more money on ads, your cost per acquisition will go down, you're more profitable, and so on and so forth. So this is extremely important to implement too as well. And majority of the coaches I already said, they don't have this in place. The next thing is a pre and post call video. This is a big one. The majority of people just have some type of type form, and that's literally all they have. And that's not enough if you want to spend less time on your sales calls, if you want to close more people, and if you want to increase your show up rates to the calls too as well. You need to have some type of pre-call video, again, that just pre-frames them before they take action. So it's just a game of getting them to consume the right type of content before they get to a place where they can purchase or buy your stuff. And that's literally the majority of these like first 3 things that I'm sharing with you here. So you want to have a pre-call video. So the framework for this, so pre-call video, if you have any type of call funnel that people are booking calls, there needs to be some piece of content that they watch before they hop on a call with you. And you want to have your setters, your dialers, you want to have them ensure that prospects watch this video before they hop on a call with you. So I got this straight from Omozi, and the structure for this is pretty simple. First, you want to introduce yourself, but not introduce yourself, like hook them in by telling them about their pain, giving them a promise on how you can help them solve their pain or your offer, quote unquote, sharing some proof to back that up, and laying out a plan of how the rest of the video is going to go. So pain, promise, proof, plan It's literally the framework you want to use. And then you want to share some more proof with them too as well. So they know you're actually credible and they can see the things that you've done in order to help them achieve their goals. So they trust you as someone who can help them achieve their goals. And then you want to lay down your unique mechanism. So this is something that a lot of people don't do. So like the unique mechanism that you have, the unique system that you have for getting them results, you want to explain to them why this is different from everything they've tried before and how this is going to be the thing that gets them results, even when everything they've tried before has failed. So you literally want to have that section in the video, because if you don't sell them on the process, it's going to be very hard for you to sell them on the product, because the product is how you deliver the process, if you understand what I mean. So you first need to sell them as hard as possible on the process before you even sell them on the product at all. And if someone comes to your call or your sales call already sold on the process, the chances of them purchasing is so high, it's so insane, because they just need to buy the product and it's just logistics at that point. So you basically want to have that unique mechanism section where you explain your step-by-step process that you use to get your client results, and you explain that in as much detail as humanly possible. And then you want to go into the objection. So with your sales calls, you're always going to have frequently asked questions that people keep asking you over and over and over again. So you basically want to take your last 30 plus calls, do a transcript of those calls, find the most frequently asked questions that people are asking, and then you want to address all of those questions one by one inside of that video. So majority of people think X, Y, Z. Oh, that's not true. Here's why it's not true. Here's proof that backs it up. And then you go to the next one and the next one, and so on and so forth. So you basically want to address all those commonly asked questions as well inside of the video. And once you do that, you want to remind them to show up for the call, show up excited. You can tell them to email you if they've watched the video, and so on and so forth. And then you want to just have like a bunch of testimonials at the end that just gets them really hyped up to want to show up to the call. Like if you literally do this and change nothing else in your business, you're going to add a shit ton more revenue inside of your business, just because people are going to show up more warm. They're going to show up more ready to go. You're going to spend way less time on your calls. If you can spend less time on your calls, that means you can take more calls, which means you can make more money, and your close rate is going to go up. Your show up rate is going to go up if you just have something like this in place. So it's very important to build something like this in place if you don't already have one. So that's number 3. The next thing that I found, which is kind of weird, is there's coaches who are still selling their time literally, and will sell like one-to-one sessions as opposed to having a packaged full-fledged program. So I get it if you're just starting out and you're trying to test the waters and you're trying to prove the concept first. I get that, but you can't do that for long because it's just not sustainable, and you won't be able to hit like really massive numbers if you're doing something like this. So if you're still selling your time one-to-one, say you're selling your time for $100 an hour or like $200 an hour and so on and so forth, you want to stop that and sell a packaged full-fledged transformation. So if you're selling your time for $5,000 an hour or like 10 grand per hour or like 3 grand per hour, it still makes sense because it just means you have a lot of value, a lot of authority in this space. But there's people who are selling their times for like $55 per hour. And it just means your time is always going to be capped. Your income is going to be capped because your income is tied to your time. Like it's the classic, if you only make money while you work, you're going to work till you die thing. Yeah, it's the classic financial theory where like if you are trading your time for money, your income is always going to be capped by how much time you can trade. And time is capped, right? Plus the fact that say you're charging $150 per hour, for example, and you are taking 10 calls per week, that's only like $6,000 a month. That's very low. And you're spending about 40 plus hours per month. There's prep time, there's follow-up calls that might happen. You have to communicate with them via email just for like $6,000 a month. So you could do a lot better if you just package your current transformation that you're offering right now, and you package that in form of a transformation and not a one-to-one call where you actually promise to offer them a big results or a clear defined outcome. Like not, oh, hop on this one-to-one call for coaching. That's not going to get you to a point where you're making a lot of money from your online education business. What you want to do is promise them a big transformation. Say, oh, let me help you lose weight in 90 days, or let me help you hit 10K per month in 90 days, or let me help you launch your med spa in 90 days. Let me help you land a role in tech in 90 days. You want to have a very clear transformation, promise them that clear transformation, and then charge a lot of money for that, and charge 3 to 5K, because now you're no longer selling your time, You're selling a result, like a very tangible result, and that's more valuable than just exchanging your time. Plus, if people pay you more, of course, you know they're going to be more committed to work with you, and you're going to work with fewer clients. Like if you have a program that is 5K and you sell 20 of that, that's just 20 clients, and you've already made 100K compared to selling 20 clients, $100 per hour for consultation sessions. Do you see what I mean? Like to make the same 100K, if you do $100 per hour, you may need to take 1,000 plus calls like this. A lot of people think you have to do more work, but that's not always the case, right? You're not going to have to do more work. It's the results they are paying for. You're going to work more, but it's not as exponential as you're seeing it just because they're paying for the result. And as long as you can get them to the result, even if you only do 1 hour of work, people are still going to pay you a lot of money because you got them to the results. So if you're doing this right now where you're selling your time for like $100 per hour and so on and so forth, you need to stop as soon as you can. I get it when you're just starting out and you're trying to prove the concept, learn about your market and so on and so forth. Yeah, it makes sense at that stage. But as you continue to grow, you need to quickly pivot into something else. Otherwise, you won't make as much money as you possibly can from your coaching business. So the next thing that I found is no paid ads, right? People are not using paid ads. They're relying on only organic. And when you rely on only organic, your income is going to be capped. It's just a given because of how organic is structured. And if you look at the biggest guys in this space, like Dave Ramsey, he has like 10 million followers on social media. I'm sure it's more than that. And see how many ads he's running, right? If you look at Grant Cardone, Alex Omozi, all these big guys, they are running a shit ton of ads and they have a massive personal brand because they understand if you want to truly maximize your revenue from your online education business, you need to have ads in place. So organic, from what we found, organic is always going to cap your growth because you don't control the distribution of the content. You don't know when a post is going to go viral. You don't know anything pretty much, right? So if your reach is capped, if you can't control how much reach you're getting on a month-to-month basis, you're going to find it very difficult to see any type of consistent month-to-month growth in your business because your reach is just capped, point blank, period. And the sales cycle for organic is also very slow. Like someone might watch one video this week and it might take them 2 months to watch another video, or 2 weeks. They might not even follow you and they might see one video once and they might never see another video from you ever again. The sales cycle being long just means that it's going to take prospects a lot longer to finally purchase from you. And if it's taking them that long to purchase from you, then you're not making as much money as you could be making if you were able to shrink down that sales cycle. And the fact that your revenue is also tied to your content output. So yes, you get to a point with ads as well where you're basically a content creator already. But before you get to that point, you're likely making multiple 8 figures already. So you can have like 10, 15, 20 ads. If you do it the right way, you can maximize those creatives and then you're good for the month. And you can take some time off if you want and you're still good, right? So with paid ads, you can reach an unlimited number of people. There's no cap to the reach and you can control it. You know, okay, if I spend 100 grand on ads this month, I can reach 2 billion people. I can get 2 million impressions, 3 million impressions from that. And that will lead to X amount of leads. That will lead to X amount of sales. That will make me X amount of money. So you can do the math, you can do projections, you can consistently and predictably scale month over month if you're using paid ads. Plus, with paid ads as well, the same sales cycle that it would take for organic, that might take you 2 months for someone to convert, you can compress all of that sales cycle because you call the shots on what you want your prospects to see. So you can have them consume all of your best content in about 2 days and get someone really warmed up in that 2-day period and have them purchase after that. So if you have a proven offer and you're making like decent money from your organic right now and you're not leveraging paid ads, you're literally just leaving money on the table because you need to be doing this, even if it's just like in a very small scale, even if you're just doing retargeting ads for now, just something with paid ads that is more predictable, just to truly maximize your revenue as much as possible. So this was another very big one that I found. Another one is low ticket, just relying purely on low tickets. Like I don't see how you can scale to big numbers if you have only low ticket offers, unless you have a lot of volume, which very few people actually ever get to a point where they have a lot of volume. Like I know some big players in the industry right now that they only do low tickets. Like it works, but you need so much volume and not a lot of people will ever get to. So you can do it, like you can do it and you can eventually get to a point where you're making a ton of money. But if you want to make like 200K, 300K, 400K per month, you want to really scale really aggressively, it's going to take you a very, very long time to do that with low tickets. But the good thing is, if you have a lot of low ticket customers right now, there's usually about 10% of your current buyers who want a deeper transformation from you, like a much more deeper transformation, a much bigger results from you. and you can charge a lot of money for these people. And if you just convert, let's say you have a 5K offer and you have 500 low ticket buyers right now, and 10% of them buy your 5K stuff, that's an additional 200 grand in your business. Just dollar product. It might take you 2,000 sales to get to $50,000 in sales. So you need to have high tickets. The customers are more fun to work with. Again, as long as you promise a deep, big transformation and a big result, you can charge a lot of money and you don't have to do more work. And if you plan to run ads in the future, it's very hard to do that with low tickets only as well, because you're barely going to break even on your ads to start with. And how do you make your ads profitable if you can barely break even? So if you want to break even on your ads, you're going to need to have high tickets involved to really scale this. And then the final thing is people just trying to sell like programs that are 1K plus via like a direct checkout page or via like a direct sales page. Again, if you're launching the product for the first time and you've built up like demand over a long time on your organic social media following, you can get away with this. But once you've gotten past the honeymoon phase where you've sold your first couple of people, you've gotten your first couple of sales, you're going to need to do a lot more work if you want to convert people. And just having a checkout page alone is no longer going to be enough. So you need to leverage at least a type of funnel that collects people's emails, allows you to convert them in real time, and then those that don't convert allows you to follow up with them multiple times on the back end of that too as well. So a good example is like a webinar, right? So the good thing and why this works more and why this converts more than just a direct checkout page is three main reasons. The first one is if you're selling something that is more than $1,000, people are going to have like personal questions. And if you don't have a real-time sales process, they are going to have those personal questions. They are going to text you for those questions. And then it might take you 2 days to respond or 1 day to respond. And then it will take them 2 days to respond back to you. And then this cycle just goes on and on and on. And then they just lose morale and they're less likely to purchase. But if it's a webinar, it's real time. If they ask the question, you can answer them directly once and for all. And then you don't have to worry about that person anymore. And that person is likely going to convert. You can personalize the sales process in that way and convert them in real time, which is going to increase your conversion rate. Another thing as well is if you just have a checkout page, if they land on that checkout page and they leave, what happens then, right? You're just going to lose that prospect. But if you have a system where you collect their emails first, you can follow up with these people multiple times and eventually get them to a point where they're actually purchasing your stuff. Because if you say you get 1,000 page views and out of those 1,000 people, 200 people sign up, and you close like 7. Those 200 people, you might close 7 of them again in the next month, and then in the next month, and so on and so forth. And the more you run this, the more it compounds. So this cycle just keeps going on and on and on and on. So if you want to truly maximize your revenue and you have a program that costs more than 1K, you need to have like a real-time sales process like this one that allows you to convert prospects in real time. And then if you just have your checkout on the page, there's no urgency, there's no scarcity, and people need that extra motivation to act. You're going to get people that will act regardless. But if you want to truly maximize people that are taking action on your stuff in order for them to act. And if you're doing a live event, first off, the event has a specific start time, a specific end time. If they don't join during that time, they're going to miss the event, which means that they are not going to get any of the value that you want to provide during the event. So if you have an offer baked with something like that and you have limited spots for something, they're more likely to take it serious, which means you're more likely to get people to convert now instead of pushing it down the road and then procrastinating and then they don't end up purchasing from you. So you want to have this in place too as well. So if you got any form of value from this, let me know in the comment section. Make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe. I hope this was useful for you, and yeah, see you in the next video. Cheers.